in studio. There he is. We forgot the Western Pizza, though.
Dude, Colson, I walked in, I was looking forward to the first slice.
Spiro, if you're listening, we need a Western Pizza. We'll get it to Farhan's hotel, if nothing else. You walked over from your hotel, downtown Regina. I'll drive you home. We don't want to tempt it twice. You're in for the Combine, obviously. First off, let's go to that 5 overtime hockey game. You ever covered a game in all your years that's gone 5 or more?
Haven't gone past 3 for NHL games. So, when you get to 5, that's a pretty special thing. It's pretty unique. And to score that goal, and look, I don't know what it's like in the Western Hockey League or the SJHL, but what always blows me away in hockey is a team's ability to park it. Right? That's got to be the most emotional. Think of that team that lost a 5 overtime game. How many opportunities they had to win that game. Oh. Right? And the fact that team will come out the next game and they'll play like nothing happened. Right? At least in the NHL. I don't know what it's like in junior if they're mature enough to do that, but that's the part that's always blown me away is those teams that lose that game can park it. But it's just got to be so much of a relief and rewarding and exciting to win a game like that.
That's U Sport, and then they get to park it for 6 months.
Yeah.
Now they're done. They're going home. Their head coach, though, plays with Round Lake. Big senior game coming up, so he's flying to Saskatchewan. Now he gets a chance to win a provincial A title
as a player.
Yeah, he's good.
That's pretty good that you can juggle that.
Yeah, First Nations team. They're in the provincial A. Up in Kenniston, they were trying to get it at the rink in Saskatoon at the university for 3,000 people. They couldn't get it. It was booked. So they got to play in the Kenniston rink, which will hold maybe 900.
Wow.
It'll be like sardines. But you're in for the Combine. Down there today, flew in late yesterday. What anything, catch your eye?
Yeah, there were some guys that turned in, good numbers. And every year you come to the Combine and there's more and more players that don't go, right? Because you got a lot of guys that are like NCAA guys and they've kind of reached their value, right? So your value can only go down by showing up for the most part. And, even a guy like Taylor Elgersma, who's the quarterback from Laurier, the U Sports kid, is getting a lot of NFL interest. So, he's a guy that's not here. So, when you lose like 15 of the top 25 guys, you think there'd be a drop off in talent, and there isn't. These guys get better and better every year, and the talent pool gets deeper and deeper every year. So, the receiver from U of S, Daniel Weeb, the guy put on a show in testing. Fantastic. I think he broke the 4-second mark in the short shuttle, which is 5-10-5. Change of direction drill. To get under 4 in that, that is as good as anybody in the NFL, right, at their Combine. And then I think 4.52 in the 40. He was in the top 5 there. I think he jumped 37 on the vertical. So his testing was so good, but he's 5'8 3/4, right? So I want to see what he can do in the next 2 days in one-on-ones, because that's going to be the question everybody has, right? Can he translate that at that size to the CFL game? And then there's this guy from Western, Max von Muhldorfer. So he's 6'6'1", 290, runs the 40 in under 5 seconds, 4.15 on that short shuttle. And this guy's big, 34-inch vertical.
Wow.
And 10-foot broad jump, right? And so a guy that killed it in testing, but they're going to look at him and say, yeah, you're pretty short for a D lineman, right? So they'll want to see what he can do in the next 2 days. And, but the fact is he showed a lot of power with the bench and showed a lot of speed and his ability to move. So there were some pretty impressive performances for sure.
The one thing that I thought, I was only there briefly this morning, was really cool. There's a lot of parents that come in just watching their kids. There was a mom, they're obviously from Quebec. They were speaking French. Mom dropping off rice and chicken in a Tupperware for her son.
Awesome.
There.
Only in the CFL.
A lot lot of cool stories like that, I'm sure, throughout the CFL Combine.
The league's probably going to give him sandwiches, so she probably thinks, hey, this is, here's the thing. I think this is going to get released on video at some point. Darryl Rommel doing the 40.
Oh.
So now, I saw the video, and there was nobody else around. So clearly, if he ran poorly, he wants to keep this under wraps. And I know Darryl. He's an Oregon Duck fan, which means he's kind of slow, right? So we'll see what the time was. I'll be impressed.
I wanted to get out there and sling it a bit, Harry, eh?
I would have caught for you.
Get some out and up, some double move stuff.
Single moves for me.
That would have been interesting. So, Harry, do you want to go ahead? Sorry. Oh, hold on. Your mic. Colson's got to turn your mic on. Colson missed pizza and he missed your mic. Is he trying? You good now? Oh, he's not. He's not there.
You made me wear the headphones, Colson, and you haven't got the mic turned on. Like, dude,
back-to-back weeks. You're in Farhan's. You know what?
No,
books.
I love Colson. He's a good man.
What do you think about the Ed Hervey situation that we're in?
Yeah, I got to be honest. Like, I'm surprised that there felt a need to go and kind of dig up the storyline again, right? Because it kind of made the rounds once, and obviously Ed made it worth it by throwing out the money quote again. He probably didn't need to say, "Hey, there's no superstars," and I get where he was going with it, because if you think you're a superstar and you're getting paid that kind of money, you better produce at an incredibly high level. And in this league, the superstars, not the stars, the superstars tend to be the quarterbacks. Like, 2 or 3 really, really, really high-end quarterbacks tend to carry that title. So I kind of get where he was going with it, but it is a bit of a slap to everybody when you say there's no superstars in the league. So
the semantics of it, because Harry brought it up, he actually says, I don't know any superstars. So then it's like, and then now the CFL PA wants him to retract. Anytime retract, you've been in the business a long time. Anytime you got to retract, it's out there.
It's out there. And look, David Mackey's the new CFLPA executive director, and he was at the Combine today. And the president is still Solomon Elamimian, and Solomon and Ed have a history. From their time in BC. So, I wonder if there's any residual there. And look, again, I think if Ed could have taken it back and said it differently, he probably would have, but he's never been one to be blunt or shy to express an opinion or to be strong with his opinion, especially if he's annoyed that, hey, why is this story coming up again 2 months later, right? Like, the player's gone. I've already said I didn't talk to him. Well, why do we need to bring this up again? So, I get all of it, but hey, it's something to talk about again, hey?
And he started the interview with, I'm not good, and he's poked. You've done
and
that.
You probably didn't even need to poke him much. He was probably annoyed that it got brought up, and then just it took a life of its own.
What are you watching then tomorrow?
So tomorrow they'll do the position work, and they'll do one-on-one drills, and then they'll start getting into one-on-one pass rush, and they'll probably get into some skelly work as well. And then on Sunday, it'll be all of that. Like, the drill work will be gone. But the drill work is interesting to me tomorrow, primarily because of special teams. Because so many of these guys, we always talk about these guys at the draft, and we're like, okay, can he be receiver in the league? Can he be a quarterback or whatever the position happens to be? But so many of these guys are being drafted for special teams. So to see their ability to kind of run and play physical with speed and do all of that, for me, I'm a bit of a coach geek, so it interests me. And then I want to see some of these one-on-ones. The DB class is really, really good. But the one-on-ones tend to be set up for the offense's advantage, right? So I want to see that. And, for me, this is the first meaningful prep I do for the draft show, right? So for just a chance to see the guys in one-on-ones and just talk to players is always a lot of fun. But the drill should be good.
Only 3 quarterbacks, I think Dave was saying. And then is one listed quarterback / tight end?
Yeah, Jackson Tuschinski from the University of Manitoba, and who does his training out in BC. I've gotten to know him because his quarterback trainer is Rob Williams, who works with my son as well. And Jackson's a great kid, and he's he was at this event last year, but he's a pretty good athlete, and he went to the Invitational Combine a couple of weeks ago, and the top 7 or 8 players get elevated from that to this Combine. So they asked him to take some receiver reps, and I had some CFL people say he's probably the best receiver at the Invitational Combine. So we'll see how he stacks up here. His times were just kind of okay from receiver standards. They were good by quarterback standards. So so Jackson's going to get some quarterback reps, and he'll get some receiver reps. We'll see how he does, because you have to believe that he doesn't really have the nuance of route running quite yet, right? And how to stem up a DB and create separation and do all of that. So it'll be raw for sure.
You said you got in late last night because you were down at Stanford.
I was, yeah.
And it's not often my wife will look up something in a combine or some and say, "Look at this."
She follows me on social media. You know that, hey Barney? She does.
It's the kid from Medicine Hat.
Yeah.
But
Alec Ayomanor.
Ayomanor.
Yeah. So look, he's a fantastic kid, and I've gotten to know him. I was down there at the end of July when they opened up fall camp, and we did a feature on him then. And Stanford's such a magnificent place, and I'll be down there again in mid-June with my son for the Stanford camp. And so just to be exposed to all of that is great. But, usually you go to a pro day and every graduating senior takes part. Well, only 5 guys took part for Stanford because, these guys don't need to hang out on practice rosters. They're Stanford guys. They're going to make a lot of money, right? So there were 28 NFL teams there, all to watch Alec, because the other 4 guys aren't getting drafted. Like, they did the drills and everything like that, but they're not getting drafted. So he's just so mature, and he's as mindful a young person as I've ever come across, like mind and body in the same place. You know, and you talk to him, and we tried to get him to be introspective, because part of the story was about his time in Medicine Hat. And he grew up on his grandparents' farm, or spent a lot of time on his grandparents' farm in Kincaid, which is about a 2.5-hour drive if you take the gravel road. If you take the actual road, it's a little over 3 hours. You know, and we tried to get him to look back and be introspective about all of that stuff. And he was willing to tell some stories, but, you know, a lot of people would say, okay, well, this made me who I am, or what have you. And he's just not like that, because he's so right here. It's today. It's where am I now? Where am I in my goal process today? And whatever happened before isn't going to help me. It's not going to hurt me. I'm not going to be frustrated by it. I'm just going to stay mindful. And that was pretty cool to see a young guy do that, because usually, you know, guys in so many sports don't have the ability to park it. And if you struggled last year, if you're recovering from a knee injury, that baggage wears on you. It doesn't for this kid. So he didn't test, because his NFL Pro Day numbers were really good. He just ran routes. And, you know, I talked to the Giants coach, and they really like him. And so there was a lot of, there's a lot of buzz. You'll probably, I would imagine, go in the top 50 picks, like high in the second round is what I'm expecting.
Okay, well, we got Dante waiting. This is it. We forgot pizza. You came in. We got.
And I'll even walk back, because I could use a brisk walk, and it's brisk here.
We're never going to live this down.
It's brisk here.
Joining us.
Hey,
live.
Listen, I got a buddy of mine who, like, I helped him. He's a Canadian guy who's living in Chicago, and his son came out to Simon Fraser, so they had this big car accident. So I helped him. So you know what he did? He sent me 4 deep dish pizzas from Gino's East in Chicago, and had them frozen. Yeah. And sent them out. Yeah. So Colson,
Western Pizza does that. They fly them all over the country.
There you go. So that's next on the list, buddy.
For the
what's the guy's name?
Spiro.
Spiro and Colson are going to look after me.
For the cooperators, they can build a plan that works for you. Invest in your future together with the cooperators. It's Farhan Lalji from TSN. Let's go to break. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.